Hi, welcome back to the channel. It is me, it is Jim. I am in the record zone. The records are here. I'm been working through the year on a series of videos just showing you the collection. And last time we did this was back in October. We got to H, which means we now move into the I zone. And the I zone means only one thing. Well, it means several things, but one of the main things it means is Iron Maiden. Because I have lots and lots of Iron Maiden. So this video today is purely going to be looking at the Iron Maiden records. So without further ado, let's start. So all these ones here are all Iron Maiden. So we'll start right. Oh, it's not quite in the right spot, but this is near the beginning. Iron Maiden live +1. It's a Japanese import from the early days of Iron Maiden. This has got songs off their first album, plus Women in Uniform, which was never released on an album as a single. So this was. I don't know if it's released before the album came out, but it's early. It's early stuff. So it's Sanctuary, Phantom of the Opera, Drifter, Women in Uniform. Recorded at the Marquee Club in London in 1980, but released in Japan. So that's that. That's a 12-inch single. We then have another. This is Women in Uniform, Drifter, and Phantom of the Opera live, which is not quite the same recording. It's a slightly different record, but again, it's Women in Uniform as the song on side one, and then that's the single, and then we've got Drifter and Phantom of the Opera live as side two. So that's a 12-inch single, Women in Uniform. All this artwork is very similar. We then move on to Iron Maiden, the album. This is their first studio album. It's a classic. They're not happy themselves in the sound of the record. It's a little bit. I don't know if tinny is the right word, but it's not as full as the recordings are when Martin Birch comes on board as their engineer and producer. But it is a sound. It was their first sound, and it's the one that kind of put them on the map, as it were. So we've got Prowler, Remember Tomorrow, Running Free, Phantom of the Opera, Transylvania, Strange World, Charlotte the Harlot, Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden, the song Iron Maiden. So Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden from the album Iron Maiden. That's not quite an original, but it's not first pressing, but it is an original from around that era. Right. I then have this, which is Iron Maiden again. This is a modern press, so that one's getting a bit knackered and old and not a very happy record because it's been played so much. So I have bought a re-release of it. Which you can tell it's got a barcode on the back, but it's the same record. But this is the one I play now because I don't want to suffer the indignity of scratches and pops and everything and scuffs all over the old one. Another live. Running Free, Remember Tomorrow, Killers, Innocent Exile, Maiden Japan. This is actually called Maiden Japan. This is from, I don't know where it was recorded. Live at the Kosai Nenkim Hall, Nagoya, on the 23rd of May, 1981. So, yeah, little live one. This is all still there, sort of really early in their career. My favourite part of Iron Maiden is their earlier stuff. We then move on to their second album, Killers. We've still got Paul Di'Anno on vocals here. Adrian Smith has now come in on guitar, as opposed to... Is it Dennis Stratton? I think it's Dennis Stratton on the first record. Let's see. Yes, it is. It was Dennis Stratton. So Dennis Stratton's now gone, and Adrian Smith has come in. So Adrian Smith is now... We're now moving towards a more permanent Iron Maiden lineup. There are still some shifts to go, though. So we have now Clive Burr on drums, Paul Di'Anno on vocals. So those two will eventually disappear into the ether. Then comes the seminal Number of the Beast. So this is the album which kind of launched them into the stratosphere, as it were. This is when Bruce Dickinson came on board as their vocalist. So this is 1982 or 83. I think it's 1980. No, 82. There you go. So I've got Dave Murray, Adrian Smith, Steve Harris, Clive Burr, and Bruce Dickinson. So for me, that's a fantastic lineup. But it doesn't stay there. It doesn't stay there. Again, I've got a second copy of that. This is a modern version. But there is another version, which I'll do now because it's of the same time. This, again, is Number of the Beast, but it's a double album. It's Beast Over Hammersmith, which is a live record from that time, but it's now it's earlier this year. This is bundled together as a new release. So we've got Number of the Beast again, but this time they've taken out Gangland, which is a track that they didn't really like, and put in its place Total Eclipse, which originally was a B-side to, I think, Number of the Beast, or it might have been on Run to the Hills, I can't remember. But it was so Total Eclipse was a B-side, but it should have been on the album, according to Iron Maiden. So they've remedied that. And this is wicked as well. So this is there's lots of YouTube videos of people doing reactions to Hallowed Be Thy Name with Bruce Dickinson when he first started singing that song. And that was taken from this concert, Beast Over Hammersmith. So this is the record version of that. Right, so we've got through 3 albums. Iron Maiden, Killers, Number of the Beast. The personnel change again once more. I've got 2 versions again of this record. This is Peace of Mind, which is their 4th album. Clive Burr, the drummer, now leaves and is replaced by Nico McBrain, who remains the drummer to today. He's still the drummer. He's still in the band. So we're now pretty much at a good, solid lineup for a few albums. I've got this twice because an old version I had, I'm not sure if this is the right one. I think it's this one. Yeah. I've kept it because it's a bit of an oddity, but the label inside has a fault on it. So the central label has been misplaced and is sort of stuck over the top of the groove. You can't actually play it. Anyway, so I did buy that a number of years ago from a second-hand shop or a charity shop or somewhere, but I didn't sort of look at it till I sort of got it out of the shop stupidly. But actually, it's quite fun. So I'm quite glad I got that because it's a little bit of a rarity, I think. It's not playable, but it's fun. So again, I've got it properly released here. So this is, as I say, Peace of Mind, Where Eagles Dare, Revelations, Where Eagles Dare. I tell you, what a way to introduce a new drummer. I tells you. Where Eagles Dare, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, Dive Your Boots On, The Trooper, Still Life, Quest for Fire, Sun and Steel, and To Tame a Land. Great record. Absolutely brilliant record. All of these, the artwork as well. Should we just have a sort of little look at this? All of these early Iron Maiden records, up until sort of maybe about 1990-ish, are all illustrated by Derek Riggs, who I still don't know why they wanted to get somebody else in, but his artwork for me is the absolute pinnacle of Iron Maiden. His eddies are the best. Right. This is Power Slave. We all know about this. We've listened to it on the channel. It's a masterpiece. same lineup. We have Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Lost for Words, Flash of the Blade, The Duelists, Back in the Village, Power Slave, and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. The Beast, the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. What a track. This is... they're getting quite proggy now, which is not a real surprise because Steve Harris, who is the band leader, it's his band, he formed it, he writes the majority of the music and songs, is a huge prog fan. You sort of go back to his influences. He talks about Yes, he talks about Genesis, he talks about Jethro Tull, he talks about Uriah Heep. So these sort of big seminal 70s prog bands are absolutely influential on him and his writing, and you can hear it in his music. And I've done that before. I've been listening to some Jethro Tull. So, oh, wow, okay, that's you can hear that on an Iron Maiden song because he's nicked it sort of wholesale and sort of plonked it into an Iron Maiden track. It's amazing. Next up, we have what is quite possibly the greatest live album of all time. This is Live After Death. It's the double album recorded in Long Beach Arena. Scream for me, Long Beach! Goes Bruce Dickinson. It's awesome. They released this on VHS as well, on video at the same time, which is actually the pinnacle of quality in the day. So the hours I spent watching that video and the hours I spent listening to this, as my friends did, we all just went round to each other's houses and just put the video on, sat and watched it and sort of learnt the songs, and it's just awesome, absolutely awesome. I mean, again, look at the artwork, absolutely phenomenal. Good old Eddie. I might do a video of Iron Maiden artwork. Might be fun. So now, this is a single. This is again from that Live After Death album. This is Run to the Hills, Phantom of the Opera, and Lost for Words. So Run to the Hills was at Long Beach Arena, and Phantom of the Opera and Lost for Words were recorded at the Hammersmith Odeon in London. But I think they must have initially have said to Derek Riggs that the single is going to be Phantom of the Opera, because look at the cover. Not Run to the Hills. It's Eddie playing a giant organ in an opera house, wearing a opera mask. Right. Still, we are moving on. We're moving forward. We now get to Somewhere in Time. Absolutely just one of the best records ever. And the artwork on here. What about this? So Scott Lade, Prog Corner, did the greatest prog covers, as in artwork covers of all time. This is my nomination. I know it's not strictly prog, but it is just the best album cover. You can spend hours and hours and hours on this. All the Easter eggs and the details and stuff in it. Almost every single song they've ever written or recorded is referenced somewhere on here. Or the albums, all the gigs they've done, their early days. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. I think that's almost worthy of a video in its own right. Just sort of going through that. Right, let's have to shimmy these up because I think they're going to topple over. There we go. Right, next we have what I think is probably the proggiest album they've ever done. This is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. It's a concept album, start to finish. It tells the story of the seventh son of a seventh son. It's great. I mean, it's starting to get... It does sound very futuristic at the time. They're starting to bring in sort of guitar synths, which is new for them. And the writing is really quite progressive, and it's a brilliant, lovely record. And it's got some fantastic songs on here. Clairvoyant, Moonchild, Infinite Dreams, Can I Play with Madness, The Evil That Men Do, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Only the Good Die Young, and The Prophecy. Wow. we move on from there to a live album. So this didn't come out at the time, but it's slotted into the collection there because chronologically it's the right time. This is Maiden England 88. We've got 4 sides of music. It is from that tour, so we've got Moonchild, Evil That Men Do, but mixed in with some of their older stuff as well. So obviously you've got Iron Maiden, Running Free, Run to the Hills, Sanctuary, Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Thy Name, all that stuff. And it's a lovely, lovely chronicle record of that tour. So, yes, that's Iron Maiden, Maiden England 88. Again, look at the artwork. Look at the artwork. Is that a Derek Riggs one? Might be somebody else has done that, but it's Derek Riggs' Eddie, that's for sure. Right. This is another single now. So we are up to No Prayer for the Dying era. This is Holy Smoke. Holy Smoke, Holy Smoke. This is a really, really, really good song. From maybe not quite such a good album, I'd say, but this is a really, really good, strong song. Holy Smoke. Yep. And then we have the album itself, the album proper. No Prayer for the Dying. Oh, records have fallen over. They've now, the lineup changes. So we've still got Bruce Dickinson, Dave Murray, Steve Harris and Nico McBrain. But Adrian Smith's now gone AWOL. He's gone somewhere else. And Yannick Gears has now come in as the guitarist in place of Adrian Smith. This is a 1990 record. It's got some good songs on here. It has got some good songs on here. You've got Tail Gunner, Holy Smoke, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. It is, but it's not overall quite enough compared to what we've had in the past, where there've been sort of really, really amazing records. It's kind of just sort of losing its way a little bit. You kind of feel as if they're, we're knackered, we're exhausted. Do we have to keep doing it? And it's almost like sort of okay, we have to do another record. Let's see what we can churn out. And it kind of feels a little bit like that. Little Eddie's fallen over. Stand up, Eddie. Stand up. There you go. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Right. Knees back this way again. Right. Now we start to get into a contentious era, a 2-record contentious run. Blaze Bayley. So Bruce Dickinson now has gone off to do his own thing. So we have, I can't even remember what this is called, the X Factor. It's got some songs on it. It's still got. I mean, I think it's unfairly vilified because the fans were just it's not Bruce. So poor old Blaze Bayley never really had a chance. He never stood a chance. He was sort of up against it right from the beginning. But we've got some good songs on here. We've got some good songs. Man on the Edge. That's a great song. Sign of the Cross. Still played this day. There's some stuff on here, though, that's I don't think I've heard in a long, long time. I probably ought to have I might do some playthroughs of these records. This is now, as you can tell from the cover, we're no longer with Derek Riggs. The artwork has completely changed. It's computer generated, and it's just I think it's computer generated, but it's just a bit. I don't know. Doesn't really do much for me. The second of the Blaze Bayley albums is Virtual 11. So, Future Real, The Ancient of the Gambler, Lightning Strikes Twice, The Klansman, again, that's played to this day. It's not a dreadful record, but again, it's probably one of the poorer ones. Poor old Blaze Bayley wasn't given the best material by Steve Harris on these 2 records, and I think that's so. It's okay. It's interesting. It's not wonderful. It's not wonderful. Again, I think this is probably a really poor cover. I really don't like this one. It means nothing. That's not Eddie. Eddie doesn't look like that at all. Oh, what's the lineup of the band here? We've still got this. It's the same lineup. So it's Yannick Gears, Dave Murray, Blaze Bailey, Steve Harris, and Nico McBrain. Right. All is well. All is well. Brave New World. They put the band back together. Like in the Blues Brothers. We're putting the band back together. So, Bruce is back. And Adrian Smith is back. But by this time, Yannick Gears has been in the band for 3 albums. He's not going anywhere. So we've now got 3 guitarists, 1 bass, 1 drums, and 1 vocalist. So it's the band has grown. This is a proper good return to form. It's Iron Maiden. It's Brave New World. Blood Brothers, Ghost of the Navigator, The Wicker Man. We've got some stuff on here. It's a good record. It's a properly good record. Back to where we need to be. What year are we up to now? We're up to 2000. There we go. So still 22 years ago. Right. Fear of the Dark. So we were getting into sort of... I still consider this like as a modern Iron Maiden album, but it's not. It's 20... What is this? 1992. That's in the wrong order. That should have been much sooner. I don't know. Oh, I got mixed up, didn't it? So this comes... man alive. I really messed that up. That should have been 2 or 3 albums ago, before Blaze Bailey. Yes, so Fear of the Dark is a 1992 album. Never mind. No one's watching, Jim. No one's watching. No one will ever catch you out. This is one of my favourite Iron Maiden albums. It's surprising because not a lot of people like this. This is called Dance of Death. The cover is a disaster. It absolutely is a disaster. It's a computer-generated work in progress that apparently was used without it being finished, and it's just it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. But the record itself, that's what you're here for. The music is sublime. It's brilliant. It's looking forward. It's progressive. It's heavy. We've got some fantastic tracks on here. The Dance of Death itself, No More Lies, Montsegur, Gates of Tomorrow, The Journeyman, Facing the Sand, Wildest Dreams. It's all good. It's all good. But it continues to get better because we then have... I've got this twice. I'll get the one that I've already opened. A Matter of Life and Death, which again is just a fantastic record. These two are just absolutely genius. Different World, These Colours Don't Run, Brighter Than 1,000 Suns, The Pilgrim, The Longest Day, Out of the Shadows, The Reincarnation of Benjamin Brigg, For the Greater Good of God, Lord of Light, The Legacy. Have I missed Passchendaele? Was that on here? Yeah, Passchendaele. Oh, there we go. So we're getting there. Now, for some reason, I've got a repeat of the same album. I don't know quite how that happened, but I've got one. Next up is The Final Frontier, 2010. This is I quite like this record. It's not the greatest record they've ever released, but it's got some interesting ideas on it, and they're sort of been quite experimental. Satellite 15 is brilliant. I mean, you listen to that; it's properly progressive. Really interesting sort of percussion-y part in the beginning of that, and how it changes. It's a great record. It's a great record. Not a fab record, not a fantastic record, but a good one. The Book of Souls. The Book of Souls. This is a proper heavyweight, a triple vinyl. This is. I don't know if it needed to be a triple vinyl. I think it's just the way it's being packaged, but they probably could have got this spread over 2 sides. 2 records rather than 3. But there you go. Empire of the Clouds is a massive song, and that takes up the entire side of the last side. But we've got If eternity should fail, speed of light, the great unknown, the red and the black, when the river runs deep, the book of souls, death or glory, shadows of the valley, tears of a clown, the man of sorrows, and empire of the clouds. It's a beautiful, beautiful, you see what it is? A beautifully packaged thing, as you can see. Bash, bosh. We have, this came out a year or two ago, so this is like a holding place. It's another record, live one. This is The Legacy of the Beast live in Mexico City, Nights of the Dead. So this is actually a live record of the gig that we saw. We all saw earlier this year. Apart from it didn't have Senjutsu in it. That's all right. Quite nice. And then finally, Senjutsu, last year's record. This is what is now on the tour. They're talking about. They're playing this. This is their final. Well, not their final album. This is their last album. It might be their final. Probably won't be. This is a limited edition from Asai Records. Not quite sure what's so limited about it, other than maybe the Obi strip on there. It's 114 of 300. But this is a really, really good record as well. Some of the stuff they've been doing recently, some of it not so much, but some of it, when they get it right, is good. It really is. So that's the end of Iron Maiden. That's the end of my Iron Maiden collection. We got there. We did it in half an hour. Look at that. So yeah, the next one of this will be continuing with I. I think we've got a few more I's to go, but then we're into J, K. You know how the alphabet goes. Hope you've enjoyed that. I'll see you guys on the next video, whenever and whatever that is. And until then, this is Jim over and out.